Hi, it's Chris and Susan Beasley here, the very first live of 2021. We don't know about you, but getting rid of 2020 was pretty cool. But it looks like 2021 is going to be challenging as well. But we all live and thrive on challenges, don't we? So we are going to be covering today storytelling in your marketing, how to sell more, how to make more money, how to engage with more prospects and customers through storytelling. Just wanted to tell you that before we got started and welcome you onto the live. So please tell us where you're viewing from and whereabouts in the world you are, because it's a very strange world right now, isn't it?
And can you hear us all right?
That's that would be good, yes.
Because we don't know whether you can. We only assume you can. And we're not muted, and everything appears to be working all right.
So that's good.
But it's no guarantee, is it? That's the thing. So what are we going to talk about today then? Let's get into it.
Well, we are going to talk about some really essential things in marketing that many of us miss but see everybody else doing, and that is telling a story that connects with your prospects and customers and helps them build a relationship and trust with you so that they want to find out more or get involved or buy from you ultimately.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike, nice to see you.
And at the end, okay, I mean, we're going to go through a very simple formula or method for you, how to write your story. And then at the end, there's going to be a PDF available, and that PDF will be our story, but it's broken up into the chunks that we're going to give you. So we're actually going to give you a 100% proven example.
And it works.
That works. And so you can in actual fact see how it hangs together, and what you can then do is you can model it and write your own story in a similar fashion. Now, I think one of the things that people get hung up on, I haven't got a story. I haven't got something that people want to hear about. You know, I haven't got anything that people want to know. But the thing is what you have to understand. And funnily enough, we've just been watching another training, and the lady on there was talking about follow-up emails and a series of 6 follow-up emails. And every email that she wrote told a little bit more of her story, or a little different bit of her story that was relevant at that time to the person she was talking to. And that's the thing you have to remember. The first thing you have to understand in all of your marketing, and it doesn't matter what business you're promoting, is that you have to know who you're talking to, so that what you say and your story is relevant to them. Is that right?
Yes, we can do it. We can do another training on that. We've done it many times before, but we'll do a refresh for 2021 because it will really help you plug in all the pieces of the jigsaw and give you a really good picture for your marketing for 2021. So as Chris said, absolutely everyone has a story to tell, and we actually say everyone has a story to sell, because that's exactly what you're doing when you're putting information, content, whether it's an audio, a video, a social media post, a blog post, an email. You are selling your story.
You're selling yourself.
And you're selling yourself.
And you're building a relationship. And that's what this is all about. This is why storytelling is so important and so powerful, because people listen to your story, and as human beings, we can't help it. We love stories. And what happens is we'll either relate to them or we won't. And if we relate, because the person whose story is being told is talking to the right person, then you will listen and you will look forward to more.
And exactly. And one of the things that we all know is the truth is that people relate to stories, particularly of struggle. You just look at 2020 and how many struggles we've had, but not many people wrote about it in a way that would have built their business or continued to grow their business. We want to make sure that what we deliver to you in this training tonight will help you make 2021 a great year by sharing the struggles you may have had. We've had huge struggles this year, being locked down here in the UK. We're currently in a national lockdown again, and it's going to be very hard. And we have a parent who has dementia. This is a little story. So it's a struggle for us to take care of her with all of the regulations around that and getting her seen by medical professionals and things like that, because it's so difficult. That's a story. And that story we carry through into some of our social media posts, some of our emails. So I might say, for example, and I will tonight when we come off of this, is that I haven't been able to send an email for a couple of days because our routine has been totally thrown into disarray. So it's a struggle. And we're explaining why, and it builds that connection with us and why people want to know more about what it is that we do and how we overcome that.
Hi Wayne, hi Coral, thanks for
Lovely
dropping
guys.
a note in.
Nice
Great to see you here.
So one of the things that was really, really important, and I have just scribbled down some notes here, so forgive me for looking because I don't want to miss anything that's really important, is that when you tell your story, and as Chris said, we're going to give you some keys to that in just a minute, it actually sets you apart from those people who don't, because there's that connection straight away when you do it. I wish more people would do it, but perhaps it's good that they don't, because it allows you who's getting this training to actually run with this and really build your business and make a very successful business out of it. In fact, I read just the other day in a blog post of a friend of ours that a successfully told story can make you $1 million. We can tell you 100% that is true. It absolutely can. It can make you a lot of money if you do it right.
We've been telling our story for
a long
9 years, and yeah, it's made us a lot more than $1 million, I can tell you.
I mean, just think about it for a minute. I mean, when we say telling a story, everyone thinks that they've got to write a Stephen King or be an Ernest Hemingway, and you absolutely don't. You can have a very simple story. I mean, just think, for example, have you ever lost anything? Have you ever felt frustrated or hopeless? Have you made a change or of something and unsure how that would pan out, or you've overcome an obstacle or solved a problem of some sort in your adult life? Well, we can bundle everything that we've been doing into all of those categories, and I'm sure most people can as well, but you just have to focus on one thing.
You've just got to think about it. I mean, Coral, you're saying here you don't think your story is very interesting. Who would want to listen? And that's exactly where you are wrong. Okay, because if you think about the person, now we know what sort of business that you're in, but if you think about the type of person who's likely to want to have a look at your business, have a look at your products, that person will be interested in your story. So that's the answer to your question. Who would want to listen? That person. But you've got to define who that person is.
You do indeed, and that's something we'll be working with you and many of our other clients in the next few weeks and months. But there are different types of story that you can get involved in, and in fact, when this is finished, I will actually drop you a link to a really good video that we've put on one of our blog posts. I think you'll find very entertaining.
It's only 4 minutes long,
but also great fun. And one of the types of stories that you can tell is called A Man in a Hole, and it's a very, very good way of explaining what we're talking about when you go and watch that video, because it's actually very simple. If you can be the person that's in that hole with the person having the struggle, and you've had that same struggle and you've got the solution.
You know the way out.
You know the way out. You can show them how they can get out. And it's a brilliant little video, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So shall we crack on, Chris? And
where are we going now?
Well, I think let's just make sure I've oh yeah, of course, most things in business are around money. Let's face it, we're all under financial pressure right now, whether it's in a big financial pressure or a small financial pressure. Everybody is suffering, so they are looking for ways to make money in some way, shape and form, whether that's a network marketing business, whether it's affiliate marketing or any other kind of business. That is a solution if they're prepared to learn it, and you can interweave that into your story. So here we go. These are what we call the HPA of storytelling, our HPA storytelling method.
Now, here's what they stand for, and then Susan will explain them.
Oh, will I?
Yeah,
that's good.
I've just decided that. Yeah, there you go. So the H is hook, the P is pain point, and the A is aha moment. Okay, so this is just a different way, a simple way of you understanding what we're talking about. So what's the hook?
Well, the hook, we were actually chatting about this and how we would best explain that, because we look at hooks in different ways, but mainly we would say it's the thing that calls out to your audience, like a headline would in an email, a headline in a blog post, maybe a headline in a social media post. It says something that immediately connects with someone reading it and they go, aha, that's me. I want to find out more about that.
That's right. So I just wanted to give you an idea of a hook or a headline, depending on what you want to call it. And this won't relate to you if you're not our target audience. Okay. But our target audience is people 50 plus in or approaching retirement. And this is why this headline, and we know it works, okay, or hook, whatever you want to call it, we know it works for that audience. And this is just the example. And you can see this example when you get the PDF at the end of the thing. So the head or the headline or the hook is, we were in our mid-50s when it happened. Our retirement fund was blown out of the water and our friends and family didn't realize the predicament we were in. They just told us, just keep on working and it'll be all right. So if you're a 50 plus person and you have a problem with i.e. you don't have a huge retirement fund, or maybe you had the same example that you had one and then it disappeared, then that headline will call you out. Okay, and as I said, you'll see it again in the PDF that we've done. So what you have to do is think about, goes back to what I said earlier, if you know who you're talking to, writing your story becomes easy, and then writing the headline becomes easy.
So your headline or your hook is really the punch line of your story that draws your audience in, just to clarify what Chris has said.
To get people to carry on reading more. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. And we'll come back and answer the questions, everyone, when we've got through this, just so we have some continuity in the training, because they're very important and they're going to be very useful. So that's your first part. Now, your second is pain points. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but let's talk about that in a little bit more detail. It's about your audience's pains and struggles. What are the things they're going through And they were most likely, because you're telling your story, the things that you've gone through too. There is nothing connects better when you can hold your hand up and say, that's me too, when you're reading somebody else's copy or listening to it or watching it in a video. It's the sort of things that keep your prospect up at night, that they worry about until get them waking up thinking about what the heck am I going to do. And trust us, we did that. We're looking 11 years ago now. Boy, did we have some sleepless nights wondering about what the heck we were going to do. We didn't know about storytelling in marketing at that time. It wasn't a very well-known thing. And even though we were working with clients, helping them develop their businesses, that didn't really come into that side of marketing. It's only when we got to learn more about it that we could see how valuable it was. So things like what holds them back from accomplishing their goals, things like maybe it's money, maybe it's time, maybe they just can't focus, maybe their productivity skills are not great and they need to work on those.
If you're talking about business, it could be lack of leads.
Easily.
There's a pain point, and you may very well have a story, or part of your story may be that you struggled with lack of leads until, and therefore people will relate. That person struggled with lack of leads. That's exactly what I do. What did they do next? Do you see how this really works?
So your story, as you're telling it, is going to touch on some of those pain points, not necessarily all of them in one hit, because it can be a bit of overwhelm, but if you're talking about a specific thing and there is a particular pain point that you've had in your story, your life, that you can discuss and show them, they're going to say, yeah, I get that.
To give you an example on that, clarify that a little bit, if we were talking to, we talk to our audiences, people who basically want to use online marketing skills to build their business, whatever their business is. Now, two particular groups we talk to and we train with is network marketers and affiliate marketers. So if we're talking to network marketers, we will tell the part of our story that relates to our experience in network marketing. If we're talking to affiliate marketers, we will tell parts of our story that relate to our experience in affiliate marketing. And the two won't cross. So I hope that explains it, helps you understand that, again, you tell the bits of your story depending on who you're talking to.
Exactly. But whilst you're telling your story, the really key point here, even though you're talking about your pain points, you must not forget that it's your prospects' journey that they're going to be going through in their head as they're reading, listening, or watching what it is that you're sharing in your content. So that's really important to bear that in mind. Otherwise, you just become very egotistical and people go, oh, well, that's not me. I could never do that. Oh, that's not me. So you don't want that. You actually want them to have that deep connection with you if you do it right. And that's why we're sharing this with you today. And we'll share with you at the end in a little training piece that we've given that you can actually map this out for yourself. So what's the last one? The last one is our light bulb, our aha moment. It's the time where whatever we're sharing brings itself to an end, a climax, an exciting part.
The next step.
The next step is, it's a bit like reading a book or watching a movie, to be perfectly honest. And you can only go and watch some good movies and see how this actually comes true in those, because it does in most. So that point, that aha moment, is what we call the highest point in your storytelling, which brings your reader, listener, or viewer to the turning point where they see your life has changed and they can see that their life could change too. And that's really, really important, because that brings the whole thing to a close for them.
Yeah, because what the aha moment is you tell the story how you changed and came from wherever you were to where you are now. They are where you were, and you're able to say to them, this is what you need to look at to get to where we are. This is your next step to move to where we are. This is the next step you need to take to solve the problem or the pain point that we've just spoken about. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So effectively, in a nutshell, your aha moment includes your call to action, if you like.
Absolutely. And it might be to subscribe to your email list. It might be to download a PDF or a training. And we actually do what we teach, because we're going to actually do that for you at the end of this. We're going to offer you a PDF that you can just download. We're not collecting your email for this, because this is our give back type stuff. But I think you'll see how powerful that can be when you get hold of that. And plus watching the very, very amusing video that really explains the man in the hole, and other types of storytelling you can become involved with. So let's just have a little quick look at the questions here.
Remove that. Let's go back to video. There we go.
Aruna, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you don't mind me reading out your question, because I think it'll help a lot of people. And we hear this. We hear this so often. Oh, I don't really want to share my story. There's things in there I don't want people to know. When you do it in the right way, it's never seen like you're airing your dirty linen in public. And I'll be honest, we felt just like you.
You know, one of the things
when we did it.
One of the things just to give you a little bit of our story, to create our retirement fund, we invested in property back in 2005. 2008, of course, it all disappeared because of the worldwide recession and financial crash. Now, our background is accountants, so you'd think accountants shouldn't get into situations where they don't have a pension fund anymore. So for us, that was, we don't want to share that. That's embarrassing. That's really embarrassing. But of course, the reality of it is that there's thousands or millions of people out there who experienced the same thing. There are millions of people out there today who don't have a retirement fund and are looking to work for the rest of their lives. Now, we didn't want to do that. We wanted to find something that would allow us to travel and give us our time back, and something we love doing. And so that's why we started our online business. Now, to answer your question, it's not actually airing your dirty laundry in public, because all you're doing is you're saying to somebody or your audience, this is what happened to us, and this is how we overcame it. Now, people who think it's airing our dirty laundry in public, you're perfectly entitled to think that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Do I care? Absolutely not. But by telling that part of our story, does it work and get us customers? Absolutely, of course it does, because people relate to it. Just like when you tell your story, you don't have to tell all the bad stuff. You know, there's good stuff that you can tell as well. Such as, you know, we tell the story of, you know, we're accountants and management consultants. You know, we've got 5 kids, 4 grandkids, and a little black cat called Vincent, and we love skiing. People who relate to that sort of thing will relate to us,
especially to Vincent. That seems to be the most popular side of our good story.
Absolutely, they love. I don't know what's going on here now. That's what I want to do. So there's lots of things that people relate to in your story, some good, some bad. But the whole point is that you want people to relate to you so you can build a relationship with them, because if you can help them with a problem that they may have through your solution, whatever that solution is, then they will come and work with you or buy your products or join your business, whatever it is you want them to do. They will do that when they're ready, and they will come and ask you. You don't have to go and ask them. Just like how we are today, we don't go out hunting people, trying to find people who would join our business, who want to come and buy some of our products. It doesn't work like that for us. People who want to work with us come and ask us.
And because we sell digital products, training products, it's a little bit different. But, we know when we're talking to people in the network marketing industry that they usually have physical products to sell, whether it's health and wellness products or whatever kind of product it is. But you don't go out there and say, get my XYZ cream that's going to, take all the wrinkles away and make you look absolutely fabulous. You tell a story, a transformational story of somebody, if it's not yourself, who has used that product and had a result, a transformation from it. So that's another kind of story that you can use if you are brand new. And when everyone's brand new, when they first start out their business, they're excited. They want to tell everybody. We know what that feels like because we've done it ourselves. So there are ways that you can introduce stories of other people, like testimonials and things, until you get good at telling your own story and your own experience and your own transformation. So don't get fearful of any of that, thinking that you don't know how to tell anything because you haven't got a result yet in your business, which is the other thing that we get asked about a lot. Well, how can I tell a story if I've not had a significant result? We didn't have a significant result when we started.
But it's not about having significant results. It could be about where you're going. I'm doing this because that's where I'm going. I'm doing this because I need more time. I'm doing this so I can look after my grandchildren. I'm doing this so that I can go traveling with my other half. I'm doing this because we want to go and visit whatever it is. It doesn't, the success or the reason can be anything that is true for you. The reason we changed is we didn't have a pension fund, so we had to find a way of generating an income. But more importantly, one of the key reasons that we started our online business and our online marketing was so that we could travel the world. We needed the time freedom because we'd been working so many hours for so many years that we wanted the time and we wanted to travel. And that's what this was all about for us, wasn't it?
Exactly. And how glad we are, because behind us you can see some of the places that we've been, and we have those memories that we can cherish and remind ourselves about during this year where we are not able to travel because we're not allowed to leave the country. So that's just one of those things. But I mean, there's a question here from Linda and Robert. We know you guys really well. Let's see. Can you just pop there, Linda's quick?
Which one? This
top one. Yeah. Like you say, Linda and Robert, you guys are amazing. You've had a very, very successful music business, which has been in the education sphere, which is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, we absolutely get it. It takes a while to get comfortable about opening up about what you might feel are things you didn't do well enough. Like Chris has said, we felt like that.
You get embarrassed.
It does feel embarrassing, but when you know that through opening up, you are bringing people into your life and they are more interested to want to know how you got over it and how you can help them. And that doesn't matter what sphere of business that is, you can do exactly that. And that's what you guys have done. You've embraced the online world, to introduce people to how they can start singing And I think that's fantastic, and all it is for you is bolting on some marketing training onto that to know how to get that message out further, but to the right people. So, don't ever think that you are in a niche that you can't use stories.
No.
You absolutely can.
Well, I think the other thing there is that, yes, it does take a while, as you heard us say. It took us a while, but you'll find that if you release something like that, a pain that you had, that's all it is, it's a pain that you had or a problem that you had, then you'll start to see people relate to it. And when people start to relate to it and comment on it, and they go, oh, yeah, we like that, we had that, or we did this, or we were in this position, all of a sudden you realise how powerful telling that little bit of your story is. Do we tell all of our story? Absolutely not. We'd be here for years if we did.
And you'd be bored out of your brain.
Absolutely. You're only telling the things that relate to the people you want to buy your products or services. That's how it works.
There you go. Well, I think we are coming to the end of our 30 minutes. We try not to make them too long. We're just going to pop up here the link where you can actually download the PDF with the format, the hook, the pain point and the aha moment all set out within how we tell a little bit of our story, so you can see how it relates, and it will tie back to what we said during this. So I hope you will find that of value. It's chrisandsusantraining.com/tell-your-story, and I'll add the other little video in when we come off of this, because if you're joining us partway through, as soon as we're finished, you will be able to go and rewatch it, because it saves it and it just puts it out there straight away. So any other questions?
There you go.
Wow, awesome.
That's brilliant, Coral. You relate to that and you're going to sit here and think about what part to open up about. That's absolutely 100% the right way to go. So
that's
well done for doing that.
Absolutely.
Starting to think about it.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week with another one. We've got to go and do some learning because we came straight off another training just before this, and we've actually got to go and apply what was taught to us there, and we're running a mastermind on the weekend, so we're going to be very busy.
But make sure you go and get that.
Please do, yeah.
Make sure you go and get that PDF, because it will put into context through our own example how we've written.
I'll drop it into the comments as well. So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers.
And cheers. We will see you next week.
Absolutely.
Take care. Bye bye.